Hello everyone, Josh first back at the game, bringing you guys some more Elune, and today we got some special news. Out of nowhere, we got a first regular balance patch note, so this is going to be pretty exciting stuff. I have not read this yet, so I'm reading it with you guys live here on the video. So greetings Elune, it's been 2 weeks since Elune launched in global server, so everybody congratulations for them, 2 weeks. Elune was able to improve within a short period of time thanks to the players' love for Elune, so pat yourselves on the back. Good job to you, the entire Elune community. We want to thank all players who are loving Elune. We will try our best to make Elune even more enjoyable. Today, we want to discuss first regular balance patch regarding Elune balance and skill. We are planning on bringing this balance patch along with the update next week after reviewing players' feedback. So I am glad that Gameville is taking the feedback of players and trying to understand a little bit more about their own game and what players like and don't like about it, which is really awesome. I saw K Gaming's video, so shout out to him, where he actually visited Gameville's office, talked to one of their employees. They had like an hour or two discussion over a few things, and from what I can tell, from what K Gaming was saying, was they were very open. They didn't try to skirt around some of the issues. They were very well aware of what was going on, and that is great. Player communication between a company and the player base that they're trying to sell the game to, both as a free-to-play and as someone who's actually spending money, is a good step forward, for any game. So that's great. That's good for us. That's good for them. Let's keep that strong relationship going, because this game so far has been a ton of fun. And yeah, so let's get into the actual patches here. Very curious of all the characters that are going to be getting hit. Maybe we'll have some nerfs in here. I don't know. We'll see. Again, I've not read this over yet. So, Baldr. Purpose, we concluded that he is not fully performing as a legendary single target DPS. Therefore, we are significantly improving some of his skills for him to fit the legendary category. That's cool. I actually got a Baldr, I believe, from my 2-week ticket yesterday. Or earlier today, rather. No, it was yesterday, I think. Whenever it was. I'm losing track of time. Sadly, he's a 4-star, so it's going to be a hot minute before I can build him up, but that's cool. That is cool. Ultimate Flame Dragon's Rage before physical damage to a single enemy plus chance of resetting cooldown when defeating an enemy and blaze status. Now, they're going to be changing it to physical damage to a single enemy plus increased damage based on number of blaze on enemy, plus instantly use this skill on a random enemy when defeating an enemy in blaze status. Does not use skill resource and activates only once. That is pretty cool. So you're basically just giving him an opportunity to do more damage in a fight. So that's nice. Reason for changes, expected effect. Currently, the additional effect is not only difficult to activate, but also underwhelming. We are trying to make Baldr's ultimate far more useful with the changes above. So that's pretty cool. Passive 2, Flame Arrow. Before, reduces damage received from enemies afflicted with blaze. Now, reduces damage received from enemies afflicted with blaze, plus place blaze status on the attacker when hit. That is awesome. That is going to be nasty in PvP, because if you hit Baldr and you don't kill him, whoa boy. So you're going to start taking that blaze damage. That is insane. Now, I wonder how many blaze, how many turns that's going to be placed on. Is it going to be like a 2-turn blaze? Is it going to be a 3-turn blaze? I'm curious on what that's going to be. So hopefully we'll see that soon. But nonetheless, that is pretty OP. So Baldr, man, he's stepping up in the world. His game is stepping up. All right, passive 3, Flame Dragon's Incarnation. Before, increases crit rate by 20% against enemies afflicted with blaze. Plus, when an attack lands as a crit, only enemies afflicted by blaze sets off flames to deal additional soul damage and removes blaze from the enemy. And a lot of you know soul damage cannot be negated by magic or physical defense. I believe, or barriers either. I think it's just it's kind of similar to a piercing damage, if that makes sense. After, increased crit rate by 20% against enemies afflicted by blaze. Plus, when an attack lands as a crit on an enemy afflicted by blaze, sets off flames to deal additional soul damage. Does not remove blaze anymore. Wow. Okay, so Baldr's just going to be setting a blaze to everything. Increased synergy between skills by getting rid of remove blaze. So that is nice. So it keeps the blaze there, which allows his other skills to kind of manifest even better than before. So very cool. McCarthy. McNuggets is what I call him because he just felt very subpar to me in everything outside of PvP. So McCarthy. I can now call him by McCarthy because he seems going to be getting significant buffs here. I used to call him McNuggets. Now he became a McRib. And if you guys get that McDonald's reference, let me know in the comment section below. So, Elune McCarthy, purposes improved his performance as debuff class changes. So, special fiery passion before physical damage to all enemies plus 50% to cause stun against enemies afflicted by an effect that reduces healing received, which would be like, I believe, does despair work for that? I think despair is the debuff I'm thinking of. It may be one of the debuffs I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure it's despair. I might be losing my mind right now, but I think it's somewhere around there. I think despair is I think despair keeps you from being able to heal or lowers it or something. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comment section below. After physical damage to all enemies plus place increased damage received and reduce damage dealt on enemies with weakening effects stack up to twice. Wow. So physical damage to all enemies plus place increased damage received and reduced damage dealt on enemies. That is nuts. And they can stack up to twice. So you're basically making units on an AoE scale be able to not only get hit harder, but hit you less. So that is great. That is a nice buff for McCarthy. Wow. So his special just got special. Wow. Ultimate Heaven's Outlaw. Now I regret sacking off all my McCarthys to make it. No, I'm just kidding. I still would have done it because seeds are still hard to come by. Ultimate Heaven's Outlaw. But now if I do get a 6-star McCarthy, I won't be upset with it. I'll actually be pretty happy. Ultimate Heaven's Outlaw. Before physical damage to all enemies plus reduce physical damage and magic damage of enemies with an effect that reduces healing received. After physical damage to all enemies plus stun enemies with weak. Oh my god. Woo! Man. He is definitely went from McNugget to McRib. Wow. Damn. McCarthy's on fire right now. He might be going from McCarthy to Ghost Rider at this point. This is ridiculous. Wow, he is getting massive buffs here. So, physical damage to all enemies plus stun enemies with weakening effects. And he does 2 weakening effects on his special, which would be his S2. Wow. So, you go through. So, first you can go in with McCarthy. Boom. Pop his S2. Switch back to him using the change turn option, which is really cool when you max out your souls. And then you hit him with their S3, and then you just stun them. Just boom. You just shut them down. Wow. That is nasty. And that could also be utilized in PvE as well. It might even be pretty good with, let's see here. Trying to think. It might also be good in Rift because of his S2 increasing damage received. That could be a nice combo with Revy or even Baldr and just take them out. Or even a Caroline S3, for example. Just take out the whole wave. Like, that could be a nice little combo as well. We'll have to see how that goes with Rift, but definitely PvP, he's stepped up his game. PvE, he stepped up his game. Just, wow. Not bad at all. And honestly, that S2 in S3 might not be too bad on certain bosses as well either. You know, being able to reduce their damage dealt, increase their damage received. I mean, that's not bad at all. And some bosses can be, you know, stunned, restrained, paralyzed, etc. So, McCarthy, he's going places. All right. His passive 3, Resolve of the Deceased. Before after receiving a killing blow, McCarthy will be revived with 1 HP and be immune to damage and status effects for 2 turns that are taken consecutively before finally dying. After receiving a killing blow, McCarthy will be revived with 1 HP and be immune to damage and status effects for 2 turns that are taken consecutively before finally dying. Plus, reduce soul consumption by 2 during the consecutive turns. Wow, that's actually kind of nice as well. Kind of like a little comeback effect. Like, you have that last-ditch effort to try and make a comeback and possibly win. That's going to be very good for PvP, that passive 3 for sure. Elune, Catherine, let's see. Catherine. Oh, boy. So, purpose. We wanted to improve her performance as an enemy buff stealer. that we initially designed her to be change a special aggressive donation. Before, magic damage to enemy plus heal based on damage dealt plus steal 1 to a max level buff. After, magic damage to enemy plus steal soul or rage 1 at base level or 2 at max level double when crit. So that's pretty nice. So she's just going to do more damage and the plus steal soul or rage. So very, very cool. Her ultimate, sultry seduction. Ooh. Before, magic damage to all enemies plus steal 1 to a max level buff. And what they're basically what they're saying is you steal 1 and you steal 2 if you max the skill out. That's basically what they're saying there. If you guys were getting confused by the parentheses, magic damage to all enemies plus steal 1. I'm just gonna say steal 2. You know, let's just be easy here. So, magic damage to all enemies plus steal 2 buffs plus additional damage based on number of buffs stolen. Very interesting. So, they're trying to make her not only steal buffs very efficiently, but also give her a little bit of a damage increase. So, that's not bad. Passive 1, Fatal Syringe. Before, additional damage against enemies without any buff. After, steal 1 random buff upon landing an attack. Now, that is not a good thing for the enemy. Good for the person using her, not good for the person on the receiving end of that. So steal 1 random buff upon landing an attack. Wow, what a passive. Wow, that might change up the game a bit there. Steal 1 random buff upon attack. Ooh. Whoo, man. That's nasty. Wow, okay. Passive 3, Tainted Needle. Before, inflicts a despair on an enemy for 3 turns who had 2 or more buffs stolen. After, inflicts a despair on an enemy for 2 turns who had 2 or more buffs stolen. Let's see. Isn't that... So they actually kind of slightly nerfed that. So they slightly nerfed that a bit because it was inflict a despair on an enemy for 3 turns who had 2 or more buffs stolen. Now it's inflict despair on an enemy for 2 turns who had 2 or more buffs. So they nerfed that by a turn in a way. It says the reason is by adjusting the duration of despair, we wanted opponents to be able to react to Catherine's despair. By adjusting the... Okay. I see. But it's not all bad though because... they buffed everything else so they kind of just balanced that out a bit. I guess they didn't want to make her too broken, like, oh yeah, you're despaired for 3 turns, I'm stealing all your buffs, I'm gonna hit you harder. Like, that's a lot of stuff going on. That's a lot of utility going on with her right now. Pretty amazing, actually. Could be good against the Wei meta as well, where Wei is gonna be boosting everybody's attack, stuff like that. Speaking of which, she's up next. Let's see if they nerfed or buffed her, or just did a little bit of rebalancing. So, Wei. Purpose. We tried to resolve excessively monotonous. Monotonous. I haven't heard that word in a long time. Just threw me off. And fast battles due to excessive soul supply changes. Passive 3, Quench Thirst. Before, while Wei is alive, gains 3 soul immediately if there is less than 2 soul upon receiving a turn. After, while Wei is alive, gains 2 soul immediately if there is less than 2 soul. So you're not any longer going to be able to go Wei S3 into an S2 4 cost in the same initial turn when you start a fight. Before, you started with 5, you would use 4 for Wei's S3, and then you'd gain 3 back, which would put you back at 4. So then you could use a majority of characters in the game's S2. Even some of their S3s, depending if it costs 4 souls or more. So you can no longer do that because now you're not going to get that 5, and then back into 4. You're now going to go 5, use her skill, and then go into 3. So that is going to be a game changer for a lot of different combos that people do like to abuse. So I do like that. So they nerfed her slightly there. Makes sense. Alright. Disciple Elune set. Purpose, by activating the set effect related to survival faster, we wanted to increase early game survival changes. So, 3-piece set before. So they actually changed some gear here. That's interesting. Before, 3-piece set Generates a barrier equal to 10% of max HP at the beginning of every even number turn. Now, if you get a 3-piece set, generates a barrier equal to 10% of max HP at the beginning of every odd number turn. Interesting. So if you go first, you're going to get that barrier immediately. Because it says every odd number turn. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. You guys get the idea. Very interesting. So they just swapped it from even number to odd numbered. Interesting. And then the 6-piece of set effect was 15% evasion rate from the end of every even numbered turn, which they just changed to odd numbered as well. So it's going to be odd, completely odd gear, odd number turns for Disciple Elune. I wonder if they did like a bunch of statistics and stats and ran the numbers and found that you're more on the receiving end of losing if you're at the odd numbers than you are on the even numbers of turns. I guess they probably did a lot of PvP numbers and tested that out and did a lot of replays. You know, whatever analytical data that they use, they probably discovered that you're more in need of evasion and barriers to protect yourselves on odd number turns than even. Maybe that's what they did there, because that's the only change they made. So that's interesting. I would love to get some more clarification on why they made that change, but that might be why. All right, gear. Corrupt Elune. Purpose: by adjusting the soul regeneration and attack buff activation timing, we wanted to bring about more strategic battles. Changes. 3-piece set. So obtains 1 soul at the end of every odd number turn. They now change that to even. And then the 15% attack at the beginning of every odd number turn has now become even. So they swapped the corrupt gear from odd to even. And then they swapped the disciples even to odds. So very interesting. As we mentioned before, we take Elune balance and skill very seriously, as we all believe that those two are at the very core of Elune's gameplay. Therefore, we are looking forward to see active discussions amongst the community, along with potential feedbacks. Feel free to leave any feedback about the first scheduled balance patch. The balance patch is expected to arrive next week. We will share more details of the schedule with the community in the future. Now, this is just, and that is by community manager Marcus. Thank you so much for that, Marcus. So, what we could take from this is they did not hit Reyna. I know a lot of people have been just outright calling for Reyna's head. Like, they want her to be burned at the stake. Reyna and her just ridiculous stunning with her S2, single target, and then her AoE stunning on her S3 that just completely shuts down teams, and the fact that she's naturally very fast. So her going first to go in and quickly stun somebody is a very optimal play. So, and she's only an epic. So getting her to a +5 is a lot easier than getting her than getting a legendary to a +5. So she's also going to be pretty good on the statistics, which of course will further her capabilities of not dying so quickly, etc., etc. She's not really a damage dealer, but being able to survive hits could be important, because then that allows you to just keep stunning. So, with that said, so far, from what I can tell, a lot of these balances are pretty good. I'm glad that McCarthy got some love. I am glad that Baldr got some love. Those were 2 units I felt like Arslan probably also should have been on this list. Probably more so than Baldr, to be honest. I feel like McCarthy and Arslan probably were the 2 that should have been premiered. But I'm sure they'll hopefully get to him at some point soon. So, because Arslan is not a DPS. He's just not. We try to make him, it just don't work. So hopefully he can get a buff in the next rebalancing. Hopefully Reyna will get hit in the next one around as well, and maybe some other units that may need to be changed up. But more or less, not too bad. I'm just mostly excited for McCarthy. I feel like he definitely was a unit that needed some love, and he definitely got that love. So that's pretty cool. Way getting that little bit of a nerf, I don't mind that at all. That is perfectly fine. She's a free legendary anyway. You don't have to spend any money for that. You can just slowly grind her out through quest. So I don't mind that change at all. The Disciple and Corrupt gear changing their from even to odd to even is definitely interesting. I'd love to see this hear a little bit more on that. I'm pretty sure it has to do with PvP data when it comes to turns and what gear would work better for that. So maybe they did it that way. That's my only, my theory there on that. But overall, not bad. Still going to be waiting for the actual patch notes, though, that was just the balancing. We don't know what, like, the new events or anything like that's going to be yet. We'll have to wait probably till next week or whenever. But as soon as we get those to drop, I'll definitely upload a video for you guys. What do you guys think about the first regular balance patch? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? Are there some other changes that you would like to have been made? Or a few heroes left off the list that you felt like should have been on the first go around with this? I don't know. You guys let me know all that and more in the comment section below. I'll be sure to try and read as many as I can. And don't forget to join us in the Discord in the description below to keep the conversations going before and after the video as always. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button. Oh, and make sure you tick notifications, guys, for all, because for some reason YouTube has been messing up yet again, trying to make it to where people are not seeing videos uploaded, which is a pain in the butt, but it is what it is. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, have an awesome day wherever you are. As always, peace.